My name is Walt Taggart, and I'm going to be your state representative in District 162. As you've seen by now, the Democrat and Republican candidate really has no agenda. I'm not really quite sure what they want to bring to Harrisburg, but so far there's nothing there. Let's talk about affordable housing. We can start with Delaware County, but it applies throughout the state. To first understand about affordable housing, you have to speak the language. You have to know what the language is that everyone's talking about. So I'm going to start out with one word that you need to know right from the start. As soon as you learn that word, you'll understand what's going on. Affordable housing. The word you have to know is M-O-O. Moo. Say it. Moo. Now other people might pronounce it differently. Pretty much that's it. Why is that the only word you need to know? If you're a tenant in Delaware County or anywhere in Pennsylvania, you need to know that you are the cash cow. As soon as you understand that, you'll understand why you haven't heard affordable housing in the past 20 years. Why 20 years? Before that, affordable housing was everyone. Everyone had it on their lips to talk about affordable housing. HUD came out with programs for affordable housing. They're all gone. Or they're just so watered down. It's crazy. It turns out that the tenants are the cash cow. I can speak from experience. Back in the late 70s, I used to live in Philadelphia for a little while, in the East Oak Lane section. We had a community meeting at one of the local churches where a representative from the city came by and said, hey, we would like to know who's living where. We'd like to know how many tenants are living in the houses in the area throughout the city so we can plan and we can figure out what's going on, where everyone's at, so we can improve our resources. And we're going to charge you $5 per rental. That'll cover our tracks, and we can figure out what's going on. $5 was okay back then. Now that has spread throughout the state, and now it's spread out throughout the state. Now the price is pushed up. Well, they started in the counties, $15, $25. Now they're up to $100. They're pushing $150. Pretty soon they're going to be $200 a year per unit. Now let's look at the real money. The real money spent is the landlord or property owner has to pay, let's just go with $100 a year. Now out of that money, or add on to that $100, the property owner has to either have someone there at the house waiting for the inspector, has to either take off from work, because they only expect Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whatever. Figure $150 for that. It might be low, it might be high. On an average, it's probably going to cost the owner $150 to take the day off or to pay something. Now a lot of the towns want a little bit more, so they're putting in a tax, a gross receipt tax. Let's just say that's 3% a year. Let's just say that you're paying $1,000 a month for rent. That's an additional $360 that the landlord pays that actually comes from you. So at the end of the year now, the property owner has to pay his accountant $200 to fill out the paperwork, to send it whatever's on. That brings us up to about $800. Now, let's just use the $800 figure. Could the prices go up higher? Absolutely. Certainly. So we use the $800 figure. Could it be more? Absolutely, it could be more. You could go into the authority and say, hey, I've got a tenant ready to move in. They'll move in next week. We just need the paperwork and have your inspection done. Okay, they'll tell you. We'll be there in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Well, 3 weeks to you is $750 lost. 3 weeks to the authority is, well, you're on the books for 3 weeks. So everyone gets hurt, except for the authority. If you happen to be a property owner that wants to rent out through Section 8, well, if you missed our deadline for having the paperwork in, you might be another month and a half of lost rent. And that money has to come from somewhere, so that would be added on to the $800. But let's just use the $800 as your bottom line figure. Affordable housing. You cannot have affordable housing when just $100 fee that everyone thinks is okay to do gets tacked onto you, because that $100 fee just blew up to $800. So how do you make this work? Well, first off, we have to figure out why they started, why the local authorities came up with the inspections. It was a good idea to a point, but now it's just a moneymaker. Hundreds of millions of dollars are brought in every year from just rental inspections. Hundreds of millions of dollars. That's affordable housing. Without that, that would be affordable housing. So how can you meet the requirement of having affordable housing and what the authorities are saying, oh no, we need safe housing? Well, let's take it all back down to the tenant, because the tenant is actually paying the $800 a year. Now, the local authorities want to have safe housing. Everyone wants safe housing. How can you accomplish that without inspecting the properties? Well, the local towns don't have to be the inspectors of the property. For years, the state of Massachusetts has a program where the property owners contact a private inspector. They come out, they have a sheet that they follow, what they're looking for, what the safety requirements are, make sure the house is in good, satisfactory condition. Now, a couple of years ago, they were just charging $25, maybe $35 per property per year. But since they're private inspectors, they can come out at night, the weekend, whenever. They can work a lot quicker and more efficiently than the local authorities can. That's a $25 cost that would probably save the homeowner, out of the $125 that we were using, maybe $50, because you're working with his time, or wouldn't have any other cost to it. So knock that one off. So now we got $25 versus $100. Now, since we're working with affordable housing, why would you place an additional tax on a tenant who's living in a house that needs a house at a lower rate so they can do something else with that money? Property owners have insurance. They have fire and they have liability insurance. If tenants were required to have renter's insurance, that would mean that they're covered also. If a tenant cannot get it, then you know that's an issue, that'll be a problem. They should have it. So if the tenant has insurance, the property owner has insurance, you get the inspection. And another nice thing is, once you have the house inspected, that inspection is good for 2 years. You get your inspection, you hand in the paperwork to the local authorities, you're good. If you have any property issues, a leaky faucet or leaky whatever, then call the local authorities. Say, hey, I got a problem here. I can't talk to the landlord. What can we do here? That's when the local authorities should be involved. And only then. So let's recap. Ooh! You're the cash cow. $66 a month, that's a better saving than the new tax plan that's out now. $66 a month. Affordable housing? Ooh! That's one way to have affordable housing. By the way, just to give you an idea, between the Chester and McDade corridor, there's approximately 10,000 rental units. Just in our area, that'd be well over $1 million back into the tenants' hands. That's how much affordable housing goes into the local community. So now that I've told you a little bit about affordable housing, how'd the other candidates hold up? They say anything about affordable housing? They say anything about renters? So let's talk about it. Well, what did the other candidates say? They say anything lately about affordable housing? Well, no, they haven't said anything about affordable housing. They have no idea about affordable housing. They don't know how many tenants there are in the community. Well, I'll give you a good guesstimate. It's well over 35% of the properties in our district are tenant occupied. Well over 35% of the property in our district, 162, is tenant occupied. You think that might be enough to get you out and vote? And even if you don't want to vote for me, or write my name in, because that would be way too hard, wouldn't you think that this voting season and next voting season and every other voting season afterwards, you might want to call up or ask the candidates, which one of you is really for affordable housing? Which one of you want to take $800 more out of my money to go for whatever pet project you have? So anyway, what do you think the other candidates, the Democratic and Republican candidate, are saying about affordable housing? That's right. They didn't say anything about it, did they? Do they care about it? How can they care when they don't understand it and they don't know it? Tenants are the cash cow. Want to try and get rid of it? Want to really try and go for affordable housing? Maybe you might want to try the alternative and write in Walt Taggart in District 162.